Hey there, welcome to today's First Steps Flowers session. If you're ready for it, let's dive on into summer herb vases. We'll begin by taking a look at our flowers and, of course, the tools that we require for today's project before I'll share with you the secrets of how we can make rather the most delectable, sophisticated floral arrangements for your next summer soiree. Don't that sound good? If you're ready, let's dive on in. Diving on into our flower recipe today with some beautiful fresh rosemary. Speaking of scented materials, we're going to go with some white sweet peas, some white orlia, and to finish off our white trio, some fantastic white aquilegia. For a little bit of texture, we'll throw in some anemone pulsar vulgaris. For our tools, we're going to be using some rather fetching elastic bands, also a trio of lovely vases. I find cube vases, square vases work really well for this technique, and you'll need a roll of twine or garden string. Step one, and it's all about our rather fantastic vase decoration that we're going to be making today. I want you to take a rubber band and just pop it around the center of your vase, just like so. Then I'm going to take a stem or two of our fresh rosemary. I'm going to cut this stem into 2 or 3 pieces, just so we get pieces of rosemary that are to the height or just above the height of our individual vases. So see what you can get from each stem. You should be able to get 2 or 3 pieces of rosemary with no trouble at all, just like so. Once we've cut our rosemary to size, it's super simple. All we need to do is just tuck the rosemary underneath the elastic band, just like so. Now, I find it easier to do one side at a time. For example, you see the side that I'm working on now. Then, once that's nice and full, so we can't see any of the acrylic or any of the glass, whatever our vase is made of, we can then move on to the next side and the next and the next. And pretty quick, you'll have something that looks a little bit like this. With all 4 sides covered, we're now going to take our length of twine and wrap it around the elastic band. The idea is to cover the rubber band on all 4 sides. We're providing a good solid coverage, making sure that we can't see that anywhere. We're going to wrap it around several times, bring those 2 ends together, and tie a couple of simple standard knots in there, securing that twine really effectively, really tightly and snugly around the binding point of our vase decoration. Once those knots are in place, we can trim off the excess, and then literally we have our adorned vase. How cute is that? Our next step, of course, is to simply fill it with clean, fresh water, just like so. First up, for our first steps flower, we're going to be using our fantastic white sweet pea. Now, I'm using sweet pea because it's quite relatively easy to grow in the garden. We do ours as annuals every year, and in addition to that, it really does last quite well, and it has quite a wild, straggly, scraggly kind of appearance, which I absolutely love. So I'm taking a stem, trimming it on a 45-degree angle, and then placing it directly into the vessel, as you can see here. I'm going to use about 7 or 8 stems just to give me a really good base of the sweet pea within this composition. Next up, we're going to be using our orlia to give that delicate, meadowy feeling. Our rosemary is super meadowy and fresh, so we're going to carry this vibe through with our flowers, placing the stems in, just allowing them to fall gently and lightly, providing a gorgeous little soft dome of flowers in our vessel here today. Moving on now, adding a little bit of texture with our anemone pulsar vulgaris. These come in right at the end of spring, the start of summer. I love them so much, but they're only available for a very short time. If you can't get them, just use something that provides a little bit of texture into the composition. And for our final flower today, an absolute favorite of mine, it is white aquilegia. Again, removing all the leaves from the stem, trimming it on a 45-degree angle, and simply inserting it directly into the little cubes, surrounded with the rest of the fabulous blooms, keeping all the blooms quite low, quite cute, creating a fantastic little, rather chic posy, if I do say so myself. Now, of course, you can just make one of these vases if you want to, but if you've got an idea for a little tablescape or some friends or family coming over, then you might want to stick around to see how I have decided to use our summer herb vases. I've decided to use 3 individual vases coated in my fantastic scented rosemary, and I'm going to place 3 of them down the center of the table really simply, really gorgeously. Once we have all 3 in position, I'm then going to go in with my crockery, my plateware, my glassware, and of course a handful of rather elegant light green candles just to finish the look and feel. Does anything else say summer soiree more than this? Come on now, I don't think so. Thank you so very much for joining me today for our first Steps Flowers session today. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned a few cool flowery hints and tricks too. If you've got any questions on the session, drop them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Until then, have a good one, take care, and I'll see you on our next session together very soon. Have a good one.